end of town, where the grickle grass glows, and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing excepting old crows, is the street of the lifted Lorax. And the deep grickle grass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you can still see today, where the Lorax once stood, just as long as it could, before somebody lifted the Lorax away. What was the Lorax? And why was it there? And why was it lifted and taken somewhere? From the far end of town to where the grickle grass glows, the old Onceler still lives here. Ask him, he knows. You won't see the Onceler. Don't knock at his door. He stays in his lurkum, on the top of his store. He lurks in his lurkum, cold under the roof, where he makes his own clothes of muffled wool. And on the special dank midnights in August he peeks out of the shutters, and sometimes he speaks and tells how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you, perhaps, if you're willing to pay. On the end of a rope he lets down a tin pail, and you have to toss 15 cents and a nail, and the shell of a great grandfather snail. Then he pulls up the pail, makes the most careful count to see if you've paid him the proper amount. Then he hides what you've paid him away in his snoove, his secret strange hole in his grooviest glove. Then he grunts, I will call you by whisper my phone, for the secrets I tell you for are your ears alone. Slurp down the slurpers the whisper my phone to your ear, and the old Onceler's whispers are not very clear, since they have to come down a strangly hose, as he sounds as he have had smallish bees up his nose. Now I will tell you, he says, with his teeth sounding grey, how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It all started way back, such a long time back. Way back in the days when the grass was still green and the pond was still wet, all the clouds were still clean, and the song of the swarmy swans rang out in space. One morning, I came to join this glorious place. I saw the trees, the truffula trees, the bright colored tufts of the truffula trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze. And under the trees I saw brown barbalots, frisking about in their barbalot suits as they played in the shade and ate the truffula fruits. From the ripple's pond came the comfortable sound of the humming fish humming while splashing around. But those truffula trees, all my life I've been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their tufts was much softer than silk, and they had a sweet smell of fresh butterfly milk. I felt a great leaping of joy in my heart. I knew just what I'd do. I'd unload my cart. In no time at all, I had built a small shop. Then I chopped down a truffula tree with one chop, and a great skillful skill with a great speedy speed. I took a soft tut and knitted the sneed. The instant I finished, I heard a gazump. I looked. I saw something pop out of the stump of the tree I chopped down. It was sort of a man. Describe him? That's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and messy, and he spoke in a voice that was sharpish and bossy. Mister, he said, sawdusty sneeze, I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees have no tongues, and I am asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs. He was very upset as he shouted and puffed. What is that thing you've made of my truffle truffed? Look, Lorax, I said, there's no cause for alarm. I just chopped down one tree and I'm doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This thing is a thneed. A thneed is a fine something that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat, but it has other uses. Yes, far beyond that. You could use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets, or curtains or covers for bicycle seats. The Lorax said, Sir, you are crazy with greed. There is no one on earth who would buy that fool need. But the very next minute I proved he was wrong, for that minute a chap came along, and he had thought that the thneed I had knitted was great, and he happily bought it for 3.98. I laughed at the Lorax. You poor stupid guy. You can never tell me what some people buy. I repeat, cried the Lorax, I speak for the trees. I am busy, I told him. Shut up, if you please. I rushed across the room, and in no time at all, I built a radio phone, and I put in a quick call. I called all my brothers and uncles and aunts, and I said, Listen here. Here's a wonderful chance for the whole Onceler family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast. Take the road to the north niche. Turn left at Weekahan. Sharp right at South Stitch. And in no time at all, in the factory I built, the whole Onceler family was working full tilt. And we were knitting thneeds just as busy as bees to the sound of the chopping truffle trees. Then, oh, baby, oh, how my business did grow. Now chopping one tree at a time was too slow. So I quickly invented my super axe hacker, which whacked off 4 truffle trees at one smacker. We were making thneeds 4 times as fast as before. And that Lorax? He didn't show up anymore. But the next week he knocked on my new office door. He snapped, I'm the Lorax, who speaks for the trees. I am which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please. I am also in charge of the brown Barbelots who played in the shade of the Barbelot suits and are happily lived eating truffle fruits. Now, thanks to your hacking trees to the ground, there is not enough truffle fruit to go around, and my poor Barbelots are getting the crummies because they have gas and no food in their tummies. They loved living here, but I can't let them stay. They'll have to find food, and I hope that they may. Good luck, boys, he cried, and he sent them away. I, the Onceler, felt sad as I watched them go, but business is business, and business must grow, regardless of crummies and tummies. I meant no harm, but I most truly did not. I had to grow bigger, so bigger I got. I biggered my factory. I biggered my roads. I biggered my wagons. I biggered the loads of needs I shipped out. I was shipping them forth from south to east to west to the north. I went right on biggering, selling more needs, and I biggered my money, which everyone needs. Then again he came back. I was fixing some pipes when that old Nucus Lorax came back with more gripes. I am the Lorax, he coughed and whiffled. He sneezed and he sniffled. He snargled, he sniffed. Onceler, he cried with a crumplish croak. Onceler, you're making such smogious smoke. My poor smoky swans, why they can't sing a note. No one can sing who has smog in their throat. And so the Lorax, please pardon my cough, they cannot live here, so I'm sending them off. Where do they go? I hopefully know. They'll have to fly for a month or a year to escape from the smog you've smogged up around here. What's more, snapped the Lorax, his dander was up. Let me say a few words about Gluppity Gulp. Your machine clings are on day and night without stop, making the Gluppity Gulp and also the Snippity Snop. And what do you do with this leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty old once man. You! You're glumping the pond where the hummingbird fish hummed. They can no more hum, for the gills are all gummed. So I'm sending them off. Oh, their future is dearie. They'll walk on their fins and woofy weary in search of some water that isn't so smeary. And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at the Lorax. Now listen here, Dad. All you do is yap yap and say bad, 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 bad. Well, I have my rights, sir, and I'm telling you, I intend to go on doing just what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm figuring on biggering, and biggering, and biggering, and biggering, turning more truffula trees into thneeds, which everyone, everyone needs. At that very moment, we heard a loud whack. From the outside field came a snickering smack of the axe on a tree, and then we heard it fall, the very last truffula tree of them all. No more trees, no more needs, no more work to be done. So in no time, my uncles and aunts, everyone, all waved me goodbye. They jumped into their cars, and they drove off under the smoke smuggered stars. Now all that was left neath the bad smelling sky was my big empty factory, the Lorax, and I. The Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance, just gave me a very sad, sad backward glance, as he lifted himself by the seat of his pants. I'll never forget the grim look on his face when he hested himself and took a leave of this place through the hole in the smog without leaving a trace. And the Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks with the word unless. Whatever that meant, well, I couldn't just guess. That was a long, long ago, but each day since the day I've sat here and worried away. Through the years, while my buildings have fallen apart, I've been worried about it with all of my heart. But now, says the Onceler, but now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is gonna get better. It is not. So, catch, calls the Onceler, and he lets something fall. It's a truffula seed. It's the last one of all. You're in charge of the last truffula seed, and the truffula trees is what everyone needs. Plant a new truffula and treat it with care. Give it clean water and feed it fresh air. Grow a forest, protect it from axes that hack. Then the Lorax and all his friends may come back.